What's up, historians? Welcome back to another great episode of the Historically Haunted VODCAST right here on Facebook through StreamYard. And don't forget, the YouTube channel Historically Haunted is all my archives. You can see all my past guests from Sandy Johnson, who was Mike Myers' sister and first kill in the original Halloween, John Carpenter's Halloween 1978. She was also in Playboy 1974. Also had Freddy Krueger's mother, Beatrice Mopel, on. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. She was a past guest, as well as we've had Stacy Johnson, who was Pennywise. We've had Marlon Taylor, who was in It. We had Donnie, who also is my sponsor. Donnie Green, Trucker Donnie Green, and Bauer Green Logistics, the trucking agency that him and his wife run. He was in Pet Cemetery. He was the one that drove the red truck that ran over Gage. If you guys want Donnie, because the truck's been refurbished, it's a 1988 Peterbilt semi-truck. I see you, Tony. I'll bring you right on, brother. So Donnie sponsors the show. He's the one that drove the truck. He killed Miko. He killed the baby. Get the baby in Pet Cemetery, Stephen King's movie. So he's up there. He's a sponsor, as well as John Green Logistics, sponsor of the week, is up there as well. So without further ado, Tony SPERA, to a lot of you guys, you hear Tony SPERA, you think, oh my God, like I tell people, Tony's coming on. They go, oh my God. But to me, he's a paisan. You know what I'm saying? This is a good dude. He's a great dude, great heart. He don't take no shit, but he's a great dude as well. He's always treated me good since I've known him. So without further ado, the one and only Tony SPERA from N.E.S.P.R. Hi, Tony.
Hey. Hey, Adam. How are you? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly, my brother. Absolutely.
Good. Glad to be here, my man.
I haven't seen you since Mohegan Sun. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well. I mean, I think I'm healthy and relatively speaking, and try to take care of myself. So, every day above ground is a good day.
Amen. I love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to get into a bunch of stuff. Of course, we already got about 8 people tuning in. What's up, everybody? You guys got questions? Hit them up in the chat. What's up, everybody? Donnie checking in. Donnie, have you ever met Donnie? He drove the truck in Pet Cemetery.
I don't think I have. No.
I'm trying to get him to come to Leesburg. I want to try to get him to come down there with you. I'm trying to think, because the truck's been refurbished. It's in Maine. It's an 88 Peterbilt. It's got the placard on it and everything. So really? I think it'd be a good pull, if not this year, next year. But
all right, well, he's welcome to come. That's for sure.
And of course, Stacy Johnson. She'll be tuning in, I'm sure, at some point. Pennywise.
Stacey, I know Stacy. David Merlin, the magician. He was good at this show.
Tony, I mean, not many people I look up to. All the little posers like Zach Bagans, all these little people I'm not going to give attention to. But you come from the line of the Warrens. I mean, back in your days. I mean, thank you for your service, by the way. You've been in. Even above paranormal investigating, the law enforcement and everything. Right. So you've been in this a long time. And I watched the shows of you on YouTube when you were talking to Ed and Lorraine back when you had your show. Like, you are a pioneer, man. You really are. And you're the top dog in this industry. And in my opinion, I'd take a bullet for you. And I appreciate everything you've done for me. That's all I could say. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thanks for that. I mean, I could use all the support I could get. And I know you're the paisan that's going to help support me too. I can tell good people when I see them. You know what I mean? And I can tell bad people when I see them. I'm not psychic, but I got that sense about me that I know when somebody's nice and they got a good heart. And you have a good heart.
Oh, that's a little closer. Is that better? Is that cool?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, that's better.
Heart. You have a good heart.
Thank you, Tony. You know what's funny? The same year Lorraine passed away, 2019, my mom passed away. You remember? I went to Roberto's before the conventions, all that stuff. And you signed my Annabelle and you put, look at that.
Yeah.
SPERA, my number one fan, Adam. I still got it. You and Judy signed my Annabelle 3 copy. She put to Adam, and you put to Adam, number one fan. Look at that. Tony SPERA, Judy put the real Judy. I cherish this, man.
And Judy,
I cherish you guys.
Judy says hi to you. She's downstairs, but she says hi. And so I'm happy to be here and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Just tell it to you straight, whatever you want to know.
That's why I love you, because like I said, man, you love your people, but at the same time, you don't put up with, pardon my language, but you don't put up with shit. You call people out, and I love that. That's the Italian. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's up, Mr. SPERA? Betsy Brown says, law enforcement sense, my brother. See, everybody's checking in. Glad you guys are checking in. I mean, Tony, obviously, this Paracon thing that you're doing, it's way overdue.
Yeah,
I think,
thank you.
you know, it really is.
Yeah, and it kind of all happened because we had to close the museum to the public because the zoning department in town in Monroe. I used to bring like a group of 15 to 20 people in that once a week, on a Saturday night, once a week to see the museum, then go to the cemetery and pray over Ed's grave and now Lorraine's grave too. And then all of a sudden, I get a letter from the zoning department telling me cease and desist. You must stop. You are not zoned properly. You're in a residential area because it's on Lorraine's property. You are not. One neighbor complained, and
Of course.
when the neighbor complained, that was it. Because the zoning department said, "Well, there's no room for a museum in a residential area." So I said, "Oh, well, I appealed it. I lost." They said, "Well, if you open your museum, you're going to get a $150 fine per day until you
per day."
Yeah, until you listen to until you shut it down. So I shut it right down. And then what happened was I went to the town, had a meeting with the town, and said, can I have a museum anywhere in town? And they said, no, we have to change the bylaws. So I appealed it. They changed the bylaws so I can have a museum, and I had already picked a place out in town. Right? And then by the time the town agreed, which was months later, the guy had already rented the property out, and I couldn't find another rental in town. So a buddy of mine, or he's a team leader, Dan Rivera, said,
Yes.
why don't we do a Paracon? He goes, we got to do something where the people can see this stuff. And because Ed always told me, you got to show this stuff to people because you got to show them that the supernatural realm is real.
Knowledge is power. Yeah.
Of course, there's people going to be on the opposite end of that spectrum, as you probably know. Oh, why is he taking the items out? Why is he bringing them here? Ed would have been all for it. Because Ed told me once, anytime you can spread the word and show people that the devil exists is good. Because people used to say to Ed, oh, you just want to make money. You just want to get your face on TV and write books. You know what Ed said to him? You're damn right I do. Because anytime that I can get the word out that the devil is real and the devil exists, and to show it to people and tell people that, I'm going to do it. Because Ed lived in a haunted house. Ed lived in
Bridgeport, right? Bridgeport, Connecticut?
Bridgeport, Connecticut, on Jane Street in Bridgeport, from age 5 to age 12. He was so him and his twin sister, Babe, and he was so frightened, and his twin sister, of this place that a lot of times they wouldn't go inside when they got home from school. They'd wait outside until they saw a light go on in the three-family house.
Holy shit!
Even in the freezing weather. So we decided, let's try to do a Paracon. We could have a lot of people see the objects at one time. Before I used to bring 20 people at a time, right? But now I can bring thousands of people to see the museum. Yeah. That's a big draw. And, a picture is worth 1,000 words, Adam. If I could talk all day long about what the shadow doll looks like, what the idol looks like, but if they don't see it for themselves, they don't get the full appreciation. So that's the reason why I do it. And people
it's
say,
the same, no, not to cut you off, but it's the same thing in the South. I'm not against slavery. I'm not for slavery, but you can't get rid of these statues. You can't get rid of the symbols. You can't erase history. You can't erase haunted things, right?
You can't change history, but you can.
No, it needs to be there to learn from.
And to learn from history, like I said, I could talk all day about slavery, but until you see what these people went through, just like when you talk about people try to erase the Holocaust. There's people out there to try to say there was no Holocaust. Do you know that, right? That there was no German Holocaust.
That's not good. You need to learn from it. That's not good.
Oh, no. 6 million Jews didn't die. Yes, they did. And they died under the hands of the German commanders and things and the government. So you don't ever want to repeat that history, right? So when you show it to people, like show them Auschwitz and places like that, they're going to have a lasting impact, right?
Right.
So if I show the Annabelle doll or one of the dolls to somebody and say, this is what happened to these people, it's real, it's reality. And there's always
like I've heard your story about the dude that said this is bull crap and pretty much laughed at Annabelle's face and then died on the way home with his girl.
The guy in the motorcycle.
You can't erase that you got to learn not to do that, right?
Right. You learn not to do it. And of course, there's always the naysayers out there, which I won't get into too much, but there's always the opposite end of the spectrum where people, you know, Facebook and TikTok and Instagram could be wonderful tools to people to learn, but they could also be the opposite end. Like I said, everything has a plus and a minus.
Yeah,
that's where the devil lurks.
Yeah,
Because people's, like I said, I could tell somebody has a good heart. A lot of times people hide behind the keyboard and they want to trash other people. Like I take my share of trashing, and so does my team. But we know what we're doing. We know we're doing the right thing. We know
you're number one.
We're on the right side of God. Let's put it that way.
Dan Rivera, Chris Galorian.
Evil doesn't want us to spread the word.
No.
Evil wants to stop us from spreading the word.
Well, Tony, here's something. I'm sorry to cut you off, but here's something I like to brag about. I was invited as your guest, correct me if I'm wrong, to the Warren Con, the Phantasma Con in Mohegan Sun. Yeah. But I was also allowed, as well as Brandon Golding, who's in chat, to help load up Annabelle, help unload these precious things that Wade blessed after Mr. Wade Gerby. You had velvet ropes around them. You don't just have them out there just like they're cheesy party gifts. You have them set up with they haven't gone. You have things of what they're about. You have ropes around you have security. It's not just bull crap set up to selfies,
We actually have them a ritual that we go through in the museum before we leave. We bring a traditional Catholic priest in who blesses us and blesses the objects with holy oil and holy water and ritualistic binding prayers to the objects.
Look at Plato. Does Plato still do that?
Yeah, he does it also. He does it as well.
Yeah, I know he's Canada-based, but
we also have a traditional Catholic priest that comes in and blesses the objects. We take great precautions. People say, "Well, why do you touch it?" Well, we had to put it. Right. Look at this.
I got Lorraine's. Yes, I love it. Yes, that's beautiful. Oh, the cross. Yes. There's Lorraine's bracelet. Yeah, I got mine the day I met you. Tony, I want to get this real quick. I want to touch on that stuff, but I want to get, me, man. I love to have fun. I want to know the real Tony SPERA. Besides the Beach Boys, dude, what do you jam out to?
Well, the Beach Boys, I grew up with.
Do you like Frankie? Old Blue Eyes?
Wait a second. I grew up with the Beach Boys, right? Because
I know you did.
When I was 11 years old, or going on 12, I went to the record store and I saw this record called Surfing Safari. And I went home and I'll tell you a quick story. I put on my little record player that I had when I was almost 12. I was going on 12. And Surfing Safari was on there and I fell in love with it. But then when I flipped it over, you know what the flip side is? 409. She's real fine. And I was a car kid. Even as a 12-year-old kid, I loved cars. And my brother
small loved block cars. Engine, small block V8. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was a 409 Y block. So it's a 409 engine, right? So I waited for my brother to come home, who was 4 years older than me. So he was like 16. And I said, Ted, I wanted to play a joke on him. I said, Ted, there's a song by the Beach Boys about a 409 cleaner. The 409 cleaner, spray. Because they had it. It just came out, 409. He goes, what? I said, yeah, listen to this. It's about the 409 spray cleaner. I could remember saying this to him. And I put it out. You hear the engine at the beginning, So yeah, I rocked out to them. I must have seen them in concert 50 or 60 times. But Elvis Presley was my big. I saw him twice in concert. 1975 and 76. I saw Elvis. I'll give you a quick rundown. People today are listening to this, listening to me talk to you, are not going to know most of these names, but like Dion and the Belmonts, the Four Seasons, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I saw them in concert.
Valiant.
Back in the day. I saw them in 67, and they were great. They were absolutely great. I liked, of course, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin.
Perry Como. My mom loved Perry Como.
I like Perry Como too.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I like some of the crazy, classical guys like Mario Lanza. You ever hear of Mario Lanza?
No.
Oh,
is that jazz?
No, he's operatic.
Oh.
But he's my mother loved him, so I had usually listened to his records.
Really?
So I like. Pardon me.
I've been to in Maine, Rudy Valley's grave. You got to play saxophone, Rudy Valley. He's buried in Westbrook, Maine.
That's going way back. So those are the kind of people like Johnny Maestro, Johnny Maestro on the Brooklyn
Johnny
Bridge.
Maestro, my mom loved him.
Johnny Maestro, all the doo-wop stuff I like, you know.
Mario Lanza was great.
Mario Lanza, Lanza. Mario.
Yeah,
Lanza,
some girl
really
called me.
good.
I don't remember that. I don't know that one.
He's good. And then so those kind of people from the 50s, I like the 50s and 60s music, all the 50s stuff.
Is that same with movies?
Pardon me?
Same with the movies? Your films?
What do you mean? What I like in the movies?
Yeah.
I like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson.
Oh, Jack Nicholson, classic.
Anything with Jack Nicholson in it, I like that. I like suspenseful movies or police movies or detective movies.
Dragnet, old school Dragnet
kind of movies. I like, the new stuff is okay, but I don't go for the Spider-Man too much. I don't go for those. I go for the Conjuring though.
The Conjuring universe. I was just going to say though, all the yes.
I go for the Conjuring, the Nun, and I go for Annabelle Comes Home and Annabelle movies. So that was something that I was very happy about, but also disappointed that Ed never got to see any of them. Lorraine got to see Conjuring 1 and 2.
Yes. So the interview she did with the Chinese guy after and stuff. She was very excited.
Yeah, James Wan. She didn't see the others, but she saw Conjuring 1 and 2, but Ed never got to see it. But the funny part about the whole thing with Ed, we used to do lectures, of course, back in the 80s and 90s together and with Lorraine. And I'd be mostly helping him out, on the projector or listening during the Q&A. That's how I learned a lot of stuff. When people ask questions, Ed always had a good answer. He said to me after about 6 or 7 different lectures throughout the years, he always would stop and go, "You know what would make a good movie, Tone?" And I said, "What?" "That Bewitched farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island." I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You remember the parent house? He used to call it the Bewitched farmhouse." That's what he nicknamed.
Wow.
He goes, that would make a great movie. He passes away in 2006. 2009, a guy calls up Lorraine, a producer, and says, "Lorraine, I did a treatment on a case of yours, and it's about the farmhouse in Rhode Island." She goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I remember Ed talking about it to me." He knew Ed. And so Ed must have played him a tape or something. And all of a sudden, Warner Brothers gets involved. They buy the rights of Lorraine's story rights and Ed's story rights. And boom, the movie comes out in 2013. So it's a great movie. Oh, The Conjuring 4 is coming out, by the way.
Oh, any spoilers?
I shouldn't say coming out. It's going to be filmed probably in August. They're going to film The Conjuring 4. And so it'll be out in 2025.
It's going to be based on Satan's Harvest. Satan's Harvest, right?
No.
Maurice? Oh, I watched that video when he was crying and his tears turned to blood. Oh my God.
That would have been really good. But I don't think it is. And I'm not going to really tell you what I think it is because, well, I was involved in consulting, so I know what it is. But I can't tell you which one it is. I let you guys be surprised. You're going to like it, though. You're going to really like it. So that's going to be out. You're probably going to be filming other movies, too. And, at our Paracon, which is going to be September 27th for the VIP party, 28th and 29th, the actual event in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. If anybody wants to look and get more information on it, just go to www.warrens.net. Warrens.net or TonySPERA.com. Either Warrens.net or there you go, or TonySPERA.com. And you can read about it and sign up if you want to sign up for it, and pay for it. So it's going to be fun. We're going to have some big celebrities there, Adam. Big celebrities. We're going to have you there. You're coming, right? Are you coming?
Oh my God. You know what's awesome? As much as I love that you did it in Connecticut, and for the first one that was there, you guys got blown away. Like you said, it was way bigger than you thought. But to go on the road, like I'm dying to see, of course I'm going to come to answer your question. Sorry to be rude, but to see what the future holds as far as possibly going to New Orleans or Salem or haunted locations with the con. And to start off at Gettysburg, Tony, one of the most historic and haunted places in the world. This is a dream come true for anybody. And I don't care what anybody says. We all need to work together and support this. We're all get something in common. Right. And you guys are the leaders as far as I'm concerned. I'm excited to see. Last year you had, I met Malachi from Children of the Corn That's where I met
Yeah.
Stacy Johnson, Miss Alien List Pennywise.
Eugenia
With
Bondurant.
Josh on YouTube was there. So I can't imagine who's going to be there this year.
Yeah. Corey and Satori were there. Jason Hawes, of course, was there.
Jason Hawes. I met Jason and
Steve Gonzalez was there. Steve Gonzalez was there. A lot of, but we're going to have some big names there. We haven't signed them yet, so I can't announce who they are yet. But we're going to have Steve Gonzalez coming back, and we're having Ryan Buell coming back. But we're going to have a lot of big time. We're going to have a few big timers that we're in the talks right now. We're in negotiations with. I just think you'll be pleasantly surprised at who we have, at who comes. And
my girl Heather's sharing your link. She says hi, by the way. Heather loves you guys.
Who is that? Oh, Heather. Hi, Heather.
My girl Heather, my girlfriend.
Hi, Heather.
She's sharing your link.
Oh, good.
She says hello.
Oh, good. Thank you, Heather. So the thing is, what I want people to know about is that the paranormal is no joke. Devils and demons exist. Yeah. They are real. People keep saying, well, how do you know they're real? Well, look around you a little bit. Look at the evil in the world today. Look at the divisiveness in the world today. The devil's ploy is to divide and conquer. So what you see happening in the paranormal world today, where people are arguing with each other and calling each other names, as you probably know, Adam, I never do that. I don't call people names. I don't trash them. My team doesn't trash anybody, except one guy did, and we had to let him go because he was being mean and nasty to when he wrote a Facebook message to a guy that I know, and he really trashed him. So we had to let this guy go.
I got him blocked. He wrote some mad stuff to me too. I got him blocked. Yeah, he doesn't fit the team. You guys are very, very God-driven, very much, not you're holier than thou, but you're very much grounded with good roots, and he was kind of anyway,
But the thing is that I don't trash anybody. I'm not going to mention any names, but people need to grow up. They do. And we have enough problems in the world now without creating more problems. Amen. If you do things from the heart with a good heart, you'll never go wrong. And Dan knows that. Chris Galoran knows that. My other team members know it. That Jimmy and Rick and Anthony and others know that you have to be a good person to do this work, because if you don't appreciate. You're doing it under false premises if you're not a good person, right? You're doing it for what? You're doing it for fame or glory or whatever. They talk about overnight successes. I'm not an overnight success. I've been doing this since the mid '80s. Ed wasn't an overnight success. He's been doing it. He was doing it for like 30 years before he had any notoriety whatsoever, and Lorraine too. Right. So it's because they're passionate about it. And Ed always told me to keep spreading the word. And I keep spreading the word that God is real. God created us, but there's also devils that God created as angels that fell from his grace and went against him. And they like nothing more than to see us miserable like they are. And why are they so miserable is because they can't enter the kingdom of heaven like you and I can. We have the opportunity, and everybody listening, to be in God's presence if you do the right thing, if you follow God's way, right?
Right.
But if you don't, you're not going there. And the thing is, people say, well, there's nothing after you die. Like, yeah, there is. There's an afterlife. There's too much order, too much intelligent design in the world. Because I look at animals and stuff, and I say, look at all these different animals that God created. Yeah. How can that be random? Why do all these animals have teeth? Why do all these animals reproduce like the same way all the time? It's not random, right? Because people can't see God. They think he isn't real. Just like they don't see the devil, they don't think he's real. And I say to people who say that to me, I'll say to them, this is something I thought of. I said to the people, like, well, did you have a dream last night about anything? And they'll go, oh, yeah, I remember. I had a dream last night that I climbed the Empire State Building. Then I jumped down. I floated down. And I'll say to them, well, prove it. prove you had that dream. I didn't see any dream. And they'll go, well, I had it. And I'll say, yeah, you had it. You know it was real, right? You can't prove it.
Touche.
You can't prove
Touche.
it. Just like, and I'll say to somebody, I'll go, you have a brain. Can you see your brain? And they'll go, oh yeah, I can see my brain. Yeah. If I cut it open, I can see my brain. I go, yeah, you can see your brain. Do you have a mind? And they'll go, yeah, I have a mind. I can think. And I go, can you see your mind? No, but you have a mind, don't you? Yes, I do.
Your heart, right?
You have thoughts. You have thoughts, right? Yes. Well, prove you have thoughts. See, there's things you can't prove, but you know is there.
Right.
But they'll fall back on things like, well, electrical impulses. No, I'm talking about prove to me you have a mind.
Oxygen.
Not a brain.
How do you know we're breathing air? How do you know that there's air around me to breathe, right? It's narrow-minded people that don't have an answer, Tony, and they want to push your buttons.
Right. Because if I say, how are we created? They'll say, I don't know. And I'll say, well, was it God? And they'll go, and a lot of people who are atheists will say, well, I don't know, but it wasn't God. That's not an answer. Yeah, I don't know, but it wasn't God. And,
that makes sense.
So there's too much order in the world. And there's too much. And another thing is this. If there was if everything came out of randomness, wouldn't everything be kind of random? How does order come out of random? Like, we have emotions, right? Like, you feel jealousy, you feel love, you feel anger, hate, envy. You feel all those things. We all feel those same things. Yeah. Well, why? Because God made us that way. If he didn't, then we may be red. You wouldn't feel any love. Maybe this guy wouldn't feel anger ever. This guy would never feel envious or guilt. You have the same. Why do you feel guilty when you do something wrong? If there's no like law of the universe, if there's no like universal law, then why is it a crime to kill somebody?
Why is it a conscience? Right. I mean, why do we have a
conscience? Why is it a crime then? Why? When you do something wrong, right? If you stole something from a store, you know you did wrong. Why do you know you did wrong? Because God put that in us, in our hearts, to know morality, and to do things right and wrong. So that's how I feel about when people say to me, "There's no God." There's a God. There's a devil, and you never worship the devil. Never. You learn about the devil, like Ed. He learned about the devil. He studied the devil, but I would never worship a devil. And people who do worship devils are really on the wrong track when they do that.
Do you think that's why you have such an not open mind, but you think you're like a magnet to this stuff because it knows you're so good? These demons and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, it's been
you're a threat.
It's been trying to stop me for years.
Yeah,
it's been trying to stop me for years. And you know what they do? How they try to stop you? They use people that you know that go against you and try to stop you. A lot of times it's divide and conquer. And I know this. See, I happen to know this, that it's divide and conquer. Like, why are people mad? Why do people say, oh, you shouldn't do that? Why are they saying it? They don't know anything about why I'm doing it, what I'm doing, and who I'm helping and who I'm not helping. I help dozens of people every week, like on email and telephone calls all the time. Yeah. I don't put it on Facebook. I don't brag about it. What I learned though about Facebook and people in general now is there's a lot of exhibitionists out there. There's a lot of narcissists out there that all they care about is how they feel, look, act. And I want to be the best. I want to be the handsomest, the prettiest. Well, you're never going to be. Nobody ever is. Or
look at me, everyone.
Well, you're a paisan, so you got your good looks. So
hey, Kristen Marie. She was taking pictures at the Paracon. Kristen Marie says hello.
Yeah, welcome, Kristen Marie.
Kristen Marie, what's going on? Tony, I got to ask you, man, has there ever been a case or an incident where you were just like, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore?
Yeah, a lot of them. A lot of them. I just recently helped a guy in Florida. But, I don't put it on Facebook, though. So, like other people, though, so they don't know what I'm doing.
It didn't happen, Tony.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't know what I'm doing. But there's a guy in Florida. I'm not going to go into too much detail. A really nice guy. But he's been tormented by the devil and multiple devils for years, over 50 years. Over 50. Now, I spoke to this gentleman, and his name is Joe. I spoke to this gentleman for maybe a total of 12, 13 hours on tape and getting his story. And I'm telling you right now, he's legit. And the things he told me would curl your hair. But I did help. I
Wow.
did, and Plato, Father Plato, Bishop Plato helped him too.
Yeah.
Without his help, it would have never happened. But he's free of these demons and devils now. But he did tell me things that these devils were talking to him at different times, and saying things to him and riling him up and everything. But you know what they said? They said he said that the devils and demons told him that we're killing ourselves through hatred, and that we're almost. He said we almost have all of you. This is the devil's talking. We have at least 25% of the population right now, and we're working
Easy.
working very hard to get more to go against each other. That's what they said. And
You notice that too, huh?
yeah,
It's just shit around everybody.
hatred is it's the opposite of what God wants. See, isn't it? Like God wants you to love your brother, love your neighbor, right? Look how we are
People
on
just soon
Facebook.
drive by you on the side of the road if you needed help. They just soon drive by you. You got a flat tire. No
Yeah, I
one's going
know.
to help you.
Every time you write something positive on Facebook, there's always some naysayer. There's
Oh,
always somebody trying to knock you down. Am I right?
oh
Am I
my
right?
God. It makes me sad. I block 3 people a day. Easy.
Everybody has an opinion, and a lot of them aren't very nice. And I always picture the ones that are not very nice sitting behind the keyboard downstairs in their basement in their mommy's house, 450 pounds, ugly, 450 pounds, never had a boy or girlfriend, eating
No, you're not
bonbons.
raising a family. You don't got a lover.
Hey,
You don't got a beautiful girl at home, dude. You're not there.
Adam, Adam, eating bonbons, and
Losers.
yeah, and flicking their comic book page while they're writing. That's what I picture to make me feel better. I feel better that way, than think it's some really intelligent,
Because they
nice
got
person
nothing else
doing
in
it.
life, Tony. They got nothing else in life. Nothing.
It's all going to come back someday. Karma is real.
Oh,
Karma is
yeah.
real. I mean, people throw it out there all the time that karma is real. Karmic situations happen all the time, and people they reap what they sow. In other words, so when you're lousy to somebody for no other reason except just to be cruel, that comes back to you. Now, look, if I punch somebody in the face, is that a bad thing? Well, it depends. If he's trying to kill me and I defend myself, it's not
Self-defense.
a bad thing. But if you're doing it just to be cruel, hurting someone physically or emotionally just to be cruel, you're going to pay someday. That day may not come immediately. It may come next year, next 2 years, 10 years, 20 years. Who knows when it'll happen to you? But if say you did something really bad to somebody, nothing happens to you though. But you're not going to attribute what you did wrong when something bad happens to you 20 years later, or 15 or 5 years later, like you lost that job or got in a bad car accident or
So
something
you
happened
believe
to
in
you.
karma. You
Or
believe
the
in what
same,
goes around comes around.
I do believe in karma. Yeah, I do. And so did Ed, and so did Lorraine. They believe in karma. You know, and I also believe in the Bible too. And I believe in the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Love thy neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate anybody. I feel disappointed a lot in people and how they are, but I don't hate anyone. And I think when you hate somebody, you get hate back
That's
in
a
one
tough
way or
word.
another.
Yeah.
In one way or another, you do. But if you love someone, you get love back sooner or later. It's always better to be kind than to be cruel. These people are typing stuff on the keyboard as we speak on Facebook and stuff. If they only had thought to themselves that, Jesus was standing behind them watching what they're typing,
Oh, yeah.
maybe they wouldn't type that. You know what I mean?
Oh, there's haters right now watching going, oh, Tony's on Adam's show. Oh, Adam's so cool. Oh, Tony knows Adam. Oh, there's people right now. Oh, look, Samaya, she sells the candles shaped like penises and vaginas at all 3 Warren cons. Samaya, the enchantress.
I think I remember. I think I remember seeing those actually. And what was her name again?
Samaya Elderith. Samaya's Golden Pyramid, young black lady. She's one of my clients.
I know who she is. Yeah, she's a very nice lady. Yeah.
People out there writing checks that they can't cash. Karma's real. That's right.
Yeah. So selfishness is bad. Envy is bad. Greed is bad. Laziness is bad. Like the 7 deadly sins almost. People have to stop and think. They really do. Why are you here? Ed used to say all the time, where did we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going after death of the physical body? He used to say that all the time. I think we're here to love one another and to learn the lessons of life, actually, to be with, so you're worthy to be with God when you pass. See, and a lot of people are missing the opportunity, I think, by being cruel, by being hateful, envious, jealous, the whole thing. Instead of being kind and generous and loving, they're the opposite. That's going to come back to haunt them, no pun
I
intended.
agree.
It is, because you only got one shot of going to heaven. And you're blowing it every time that you do something that the devil likes. Every time you do something evil, you do something hateful, cruel, or in an envious way, or act envious and jealous and greedy, the devil smiles. He's happy. And God frowns. God frowns. But if you do loving things, kind, generosity, helping others as much as you can, being supportive of others, God smiles and the devil frowns. So
You're
which
doing
way
the
do you want
God's
to go?
work. You're doing
Which way do
God's
you want?
work.
Which way do you want to go? Do you want to
Yeah.
go towards? You want to go towards righteousness, or do you want to go towards evilness and hatred and cruelty and that kind of thing, sinfulness?
You
So,
think Earth is bad? Hell's worse than Earth. You think New
well,
York is bad?
well, imagine this. Imagine if hell was like a separation from God, and not only a separation from God, from all that you love. So, say like you went to hell, and on the other side of this wall, you see all your loved ones, right? And you see all your old pets and everything that you lost, that you loved and hoped to see, and you see them fleetingly over the wall, and you try to go there, then you get frozen, stopped, and then it fades away, and you never
Oh
and you
God.
never and you never see him again for eternity.
Oh.
But you're there for eternity. Can that be what hell is? I don't think it's fire and brimstone, but I think it is the separation and the anguish you get from not having that loving relationship with God and with your loved ones that you wanted to see. So you only got one
Metaphorically,
shot.
you're pushing that stone up that hill constantly.
Yeah,
You're
you only
pushing the
got one shot.
stone.
Yeah, so you have to stop and think that you're not here. You're not here on this earth, Adam, to just enjoy the pleasures of life. To enjoy,
Right.
you are here to enjoy it, but that's not your goal. Your goal isn't to say, where can I find the best steak ever? Your goal isn't to say, hey, I want to have some more sex with somebody, right? Illicit sex or whatever. Your goal isn't that, or worshiping. You're taking nothing with you, by the way. You're not taking a new Corvette. You're not taking the new car you just bought. You're not taking the jewelry. You're not
Your
taking
good deeds. Your
you're not
good
taking
deeds.
you're
That's
not
it.
taking the house. You're on everything's
No.
borrowed. Your car is borrowed. Your house is borrowed. Everything, but you're the only one that's going. Your friends aren't even going with you. You're going right away. When you die, you're going to die alone.
Your friends are fighting over your car.
you want to die happy, right? So that's the key to me, is that you have to do the right thing and be righteous. I'm not sinless, that's for sure. Everybody's a sinner. Everybody is a sinner, but it's the striving to be better is what counts, I think. Trying your best not to be hateful, jealous, envious, greedy, the whole thing. Your goal is to learn the lessons of life, Adam. And those lessons of life to me are things like wisdom, things like kindness, generosity, forgiveness, compassion. Probably the most important and the hardest to do is love. People say, oh, yeah, you ever hear people go at the end of a conversation, oh, love you, bye. They're just saying words. Because do they really love you? Probably not. And to really, truly love someone unconditionally, that's what you want. Because God loves you unconditionally. He does. He never hates you. He's never envious of you. He's never greedy. He loves you. He wants you to have the best. He wants you to be with him. So, but you have to work for it, like anything else. You don't get there's no free ride in the world.
No.
So you may think there is, but there's no free ride. But if you do everything from a place of love, if you do everything from a place of kindness, you're on the way. You're on the correct track. There's the Corinthians do everything from love. And that's what you should do. And then, like, there's another quote in the Bible, and I'm not a Bible freak either.
You should be a preacher, brother. You could be a preacher, Tony. You're good.
Isaiah 5:20, I think it is, where it says, "Woe to those who consider good evil and evil good. Woe to those who call bitter sweet and sweet bitter." That's what we're doing today, by the way, is we're flip-flopped. We're thinking that it's okay, it's good to be like evil and bad on a keyboard warrior. And we think it's good to do the opposite of what is good, like when the cop gets beat up, just to stand there and film it instead of helping the guy. You know what I mean? I mean, years ago, even when I was a kid,
people root for them now. They root for people to hit cops. They root for them.
Yeah. You know what I hate the most?
That's fucked up.
Yeah, you know what I hate the most when I watch these videos and you see these people who are filming it going, oh my God, look at that dude. Oh my God, look at that guy getting beat up. Because they're not putting themselves in their place. They could be the same victim. They could get beat up and smashed in the head too. They can get their jaw broke. They can get stabbed, shot, whatever, humiliated. Because, fighting somebody out in the street, right, that's a humiliation. Even if you're good and you beat the guy, it's still it's humiliating to fight. But people today, they watch these videos, they think it's okay to stab a guy. It's okay to beat him around and steal the purse and hit him and throw him on the ground and just laugh.
I'll get some YouTube hits. Look at this.
I can't stand that. I can't stand it. I watch it. I just flip through it. You know what I mean? Basically,
they won't even hold the door for you at the Walmart, Tony. They won't even hold the door for you at the dollar store.
No, I hold the door. No, but me at my age, I hold the door for a kid and he walks by and doesn't say thanks. Like he deserves. He's 15 years old. I'm like 5 times older than him, and I hold the door open and he doesn't even look at me. He just I'm supposed to hold the door, like I'm the door.
Entitlement, like Tony.
So the world today is screwed up. The world today is.
You're fighting the good fight, brother. You really are.
I'm telling you right now, the way we're going, and not to get off on tangents, there's going to be a World War III. No, there's going to be a World War III. And we're not going to have enough fighting men and women because they're not going to want to join. They're not going to want to. We're going to have a draft. We'll end up having a draft, and then they're going to see what it's like to be, an adult, to do something that you don't want to do, but you kill people.
Well, they're all talking about
we're heading towards that.
Boys don't want to be boys anymore. They're scared to fight. They're scared to do anything. There's no more really. We're kind of losing the whole masculinity fight. I know I'm probably going to catch heat for that, but it's true, man. Everybody's got feelings and stuff. There's no tough dudes anymore.
Look at the Ukraine-Russia war. One guy, Vladimir Putin, one guy is responsible for that, right? You know how many people I heard are dead, like soldiers? Now, I may be wrong, but I know it's there. I heard 180,000.
My God.
Why? Because one guy decided, let's go. He didn't go, but he sent all these young kids to go get killed. And what are they getting in return? Nothing. It's going to end up either a stalemate, or Russia will occupy it, or take back the stuff they already had, or maybe occupy a little more. But it's never going to be peace. Never going to be peace. If somebody invaded America, you think would be just like, okay, that's okay. The Chinese took over, or whoever. That's fine. We'll just learn Chinese.
No, that wouldn't fly.
I just ordered a poo-poo platter, because
that sounds good right about now.
We're gonna be every chance we get a resistance, right? So that's another thing that God hates that stuff, these wars and stuff going on, and people keep saying that, or I read, and people keep saying that it's the end times. It probably close. Nobody knows except God when the end times, when the last days are. When he's coming, but we better get ready because
you're one of his soldiers, though, Tony.
What?
You're one of his. Oh, real quick, Kristen Marie's comments. Tony has been awesome to me over the years. Last year they hired me for Phantasmacon. I've also got hired this year for Gettysburg Phantasmacon. N.E.S.P.R has been great to me. I tell you, Tony, for every one hater, you get 30 loves, dude.
Well, I'm glad about that, but it doesn't. It's like a thorn in your side. You know what I mean?
April 19th, Tony, tell me about that. You got a movie premiere in Monroe?
Oh, yeah, we do. We have a movie premiere called Making Bones. I forgot to say that. Bones.
Way to go, Christine.
Joey Ambrosini is the producer and director, and I came up with this story, which is, when you're in a mob Well, there is no mob, right? Right, right,
Oh,
right.
there's a mob. Wink, wink.
When you're in a mob, you have to make your bones. So the way you make your bones, you have to go kill somebody. They tell you, "Hey, go kill Joey, the loser over there," and you know what I mean. So you go over and you kill Joe or whoever it is, and you make your bones. So I come up with this storyline. I said, "Why don't you have something called like Making Bones?" And where the guy has to make his bones, you know. So it's a mafia movie. It's a short movie. It's only
You're a
about.
writer?
No, I didn't write it. I just came up with the idea
Oh,
of
that's
it.
still cool,
I came up with the
Tony.
story. I came up with the story. Joey wrote it. Joey Ebersini wrote it and directed it. So I think it's gonna be pretty good. You know, it's Joey's like fifth, sixth, seventh movie short, and it's gonna be Christine's gonna go there and take pictures, right? I hope Christine.
She's got it right there. Making Bones premiere with Joey
Yep.
Petroni and Tony SPERA in Monroe, Connecticut, April 19th. I ended up going to Monroe to meet them at Roberto's, and we ended up going to Stephanie Cemetery where Ed and
Yeah.
Lorraine are buried. And
Oh, good.
great little town. The church there that had exorcisms there and stuff. We also went. Me and Heather also went to Easton, Connecticut, where Union Cemetery is, with a white lady.
It's on Route 59.
That's pretty wild little spot.
If anybody wants to go to Union Cemetery, it's Route 59 in Easton, 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 Connecticut. But don't go in at nighttime because you'll get arrested. There you go.
Yeah, I'll go at night. I like my cemeteries at night. I have the graveyard one somewhere. Tony, well, we got a little bit of time. I know I said for an hour. I want to go a little bit over because I get more questions real quick. Well, real quick too, I got this. As you know, you teamed up with Harrison Vodka, and this sat in front of Annabelle for 30 days, 28 days. This vodka bottle I got.
Harridan Vodka, yep. I think they still got some online there. Harridan Vodka.
There's not many left. There's only so many, but that was in the Occult Museum.
The Paranormal Reserve. Yeah,
I got that. That was nice. That's a nice little showpiece with my Annabelle. I get the original bracelet, from the first one. I get the rubber bracelet from the last one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You guys have been.
You know, our team put a lot of work into the Paracon. All our guys.
There's the first one.
Oh,
Number
good.
one, baby. Dude, Tony, we got in line. There was like thousands of people there. You're like,
But we're hoping to have about 8,000 people total, maybe more, for each day, and we have 4,000 maybe a day. I don't know. Well, as many as we can have, we're going to be happy to have them. And whatever we have. We're going to have a good old time. We'll have like 90 vendors maybe of different sorts.
Wow.
Readers, psychic readers, teams of investigators, books.
Eisenhower Hotel, right?
Yeah, different hotels. Eisenhower Hotel is one of them. But there's many hotels in the area that they can go to. But it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. You know, it's great.
Sorry, my furnace kicked on. It's only 8 degrees here in Maine.
Oh, is that cold?
Dude, it's 8 degrees with a wind chill feels like -3. My thing said. I live between Bangor and the Appalachian Trail by Mount Katahdin and stuff in Maine. I live in a town called Adams, ironically enough by Dover Foxcroft. So by Stephen King country, but it's cold, brother. There's hawks here and wild rabbits, dudes with shotguns on 4-wheelers, but I don't hit a red light for 45 minutes. Population 1,200. It's chill. I like it. Cool.
You have moose there too? Moose?
Dude, there's moose hanging from the gas station. People shoot them. I look, there's a big moose. It's huge, 1,300 pounder.
Really?
Wow. Look up, bro. If you get a chance, Brownville Deer Pantry. I live by there. They have they feed all these deer. It's live on YouTube 24/7. They feed them all winter long.
Oh, it's cold here too, but not like that. It's like 30 something now, but tomorrow's supposed to be warmer, like 50s.
Oh,
good. I don't know about you. Today was a cold front that came through.
It's coming back warm.
We're here again,
So when are me and Heather coming up for an Italian dinner with you and Judy?
Pretty soon. Oh, there's a new place where Roberto's was. Roberto's out of business.
Whoa, what?
But there's a new guy coming in called Testo's. He's a guy from Bridgeport. He had a place called Testo's. Nice Italian food. It's good. It's good like Roberto's, So he's got.
You swear by that, Tony? Come on, Paisan. No bullshit me, yeah?
Yeah, he's coming in springtime. So maybe like in March or April, he'll open up. And you come on up and then have some nice manigot, eggplant parmesan, ravioli.
Mancha. I love to break bread with you, Paisan. You've been so good to me, Tony. I don't want to rob you of time. We got about 10, 15 minutes, but I want to go. Before we get into some more fun talk, could you want to plug some stuff? Where can people find tickets for the event and what you're doing?
Right. Now, remember that the Warrens, Seekers of the Supernatural Paracon, if you just punch that in Google, you might get it. But go to www.warrens.net, WARRENS, www.warrens.net, or you can go to TonySPERA.com. It brings you to our website, and right on the front page, it says about the Paracon. And click here for tickets.
Hey,
info. Who's there?
Joey.
Joey, my man. Joey,
send me a friend request, brother, because I'm going to send you one and stalk you if you don't. That's how I got Tony. I kept pursuing him.
What's Joey saying?
He's talking about the premiere, Making Bones premiere event. Thank you so much, Joey. I appreciate you, man. Let me know what's going on. I love to follow you, support you. Also, Tony, I am a booking agent of like Donnie. I'd love to talk to you after the show or maybe tomorrow about getting Donnie in the truck up there to Gettysburg and see what we can do with that.
Okay.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I represent a lot of great people too, like Samai's one of my clients. Brooke used to be from the Wildwood. So many people that have gone there. If people want to be vendors there's applications online.
Yes. I think it says applications, click here or whatever, and you'll get the application online for being a vendor. So that's not a problem at all.
Dan does the technical shit, right?
What?
Dan Rivera does the technical stuff, or do you do it?
No. Chris Galoran is doing the.
Oh, Chris does. Okay.
He set up the whole ticket agency thing. He sets up a lot of stuff. He does a lot of work.
He's a smart man, dude.
He does a lot of work. He used to be an Eagle Scout, so I guess he's really detail oriented and stuff. I don't know. He goes.
Two fingers.
He makes sure he got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. You know what I mean? He's very he wants to do it right, and I don't blame him. He does a lot of hard work. So Chris is great, and so is Dan, and so are all my team guys, Rick and Jimmy. Jimmy Petnito.
Oh my God, I got Jimmy stickers.
Those two, Rick Clark and Jimmy, started out in the '90s with Ed and Lorraine.
I got I got a picture of Jimmy passed out in the back of the U-Haul in Mohegan Sun last year.
Oh yeah, did you? Yeah, he's a funny guy, isn't he?
What do you mean? Well, that's the thing, Tony.
What do you mean? Funny how?
Well, you're very serious with all this stuff. You're very religious. You're very respectful, but you got a sense of humor. You're not a fuddy-duddy. You know what I'm saying? You're very much. You can have a good laugh if it's at a decent expense. Yeah. That's cool.
And I wouldn't say I'm very religious. I say I'm very spiritual.
Right. Well, yeah.
I'm not a Bible thumper. I don't say the rosary every day, which I probably should, but I do say prayers every day. I do say prayers every day. All I know is this. Here's what I know. Okay. And you're going to agree with me, Adams, and everybody out there want to know. Here is what I know. God knows your heart. So whatever anybody tells you about, well, you're an idiot, you're this, you did it for this reason, you're cruel, and because they're jealous or whatever, but you know in your heart who you are, right? That you're good. God knows that too. And God knows people who aren't good, right? He knows your heart. He knows everybody's heart. People say, well, that's just a myth, and that there's no God. There's just some guy you talking to the air. No, you're not. No, you're not talking to the air. Because what you don't realize is this. There's another dimension that we're not privy to right now. It's the way it was set up. God set it up this way. So you're not going to know what heaven's like. So then everybody would just be good. Everybody would just be like, well, I'm going to be good. You have to work for goodness. You have to work for heaven to get in there. You have to work to show God that you're disciplined, diligent, and good-hearted. To show him that you're following his word, right? So
he knows if you're fake. He knows if you're fraud. If you're fraud.
You're not meant to know all the answers. Like even Ed said, it's the mysteries of the universe. You're not meant to know all the answers. You're just not. I mean, if you knew all the answers, yes, that's right. Big Ed and Lorraine. If you knew all the answers, Adam, then if you knew all the answers, then you know when you're dying, what day you're dying, what time you're dying, how you're dying. Come on. Do you want to know that? I don't.
No.
I don't want to know what day, time, and how. I'm going to just play it by ear right now. Be the best I can until something bad happens. And you got to take it. You got to take the good with the bad.
Yes. Tony, we got about 35 people watching. I should be getting going, but you mind if I squeeze another 5-10 minutes out of you?
Go ahead.
We got a bunch of people watching. I hate to cut them off.
To the people that are watching, I'm glad you're watching, and I want you all the guys to sign up more for Adam's podcast because he's a real guy. He's not an idiot like some people are. He's a real guy. He's the real guy. You know, some people join these groups just to talk about themselves. If you notice, Adam doesn't even talk about himself. He talks about us, how great I am. I'm not that great, but he talks about how great I am.
Oh, you are, Tony.
He doesn't pat himself on the back like a lot of people do. So
you don't want to fall for false gods, but as far as living life, if I can find someone to be, I'm not going to obviously take over your position, but to have you to learn from what you've done and what you've been through and learn your ways, brother, of course.
Yeah, the things I've been through in life, a lot of people have been through worse. But and just living life, like Ed said to me one time, when I lost my mom when I was 17 and she was 45, heart attack, massive on the kitchen floor.
Oh.
I was the last one to see her alive.
Jeez.
And I gave her mouth to mouth, and it didn't work, of course, because she's already dead when she hit the floor. And so, yeah, my brother died at 27 years old, and I was 23, and he was a cop, and I was a cop. And that kind of ruined me. And he had liver cancer, so he died 4 months after. 4 months after he got a pain in his side. And then my father one day said, "Something wrong here. I got a pain in my chest." He had a quadruple or triple bypass. He was fine, and then a month later, he died in his chair from an abdominal aneurysm. 66 years old. So I outlived everybody in my family. But I remember one time when all this happened, and Ed and Lorraine knew my past and my history. Ed said, "You know why you went through all that stuff?" He goes, "Because you know what life's about. Because you know what you've been through it, so you can help people. Because that's why you help people." So that was pretty cool when he said that. That's why
Tony, you could have turned to drugs, alcohol. You could have turned to suicide. You could have turned to depression, and you decided to help people. On Facebook crying like everybody else. My hamburger was burned at McDonald's. Little everyday gropes and like you said earlier, not to bring it up, but negative stuff.
Yeah, and negativity.
It's just it's addicting and it gets old, man.
Negativity draws negativity. That's the problem. Positivity draws positivity. Like people say either the glass is half full or half empty. I always look at it as half full. There's a positive. Everything's got a positive thing to it. Like good comes out of bad too. Like sometimes you'll lose a friend, but it was because you were meant to lose a friend because they weren't doing you any good, kind of thing. Or you lose a job, and you find out later that you're happy or not that you got this other job. And the other job is bringing you down and depressing you. There's always good comes out of bad too. But if you always think positive, because there's always somebody worse than you, worse off. There's always somebody who lost more people. There's always somebody who had more disease, more illness. Like when I got gout one time, I got gout and my toe was killing me. And I remember saying to my wife, saying, "Bad, that's bad." This is years ago. That's bad. I go, if that's the worst thing that happens to me, honey, I'm lucky. Then I got eczema, which wasn't really eczema. It was a from dye I had on my beard that was causing me an allergic reaction that the dermatologist said when I told them, they just blew by that and said, "Oh, you got eczema." I stopped using the dye and eczema went away. But I always said, if that's the worst kind of stuff that happens to me, man, am I lucky.
Tony, you're tough as nails. You're tough as nails, my dude.
Because there's people out there that are suffering a lot worse. So hey, but I remember being dead broke. People think that I got a lot of money. I don't have that much money because I drive a Honda CR-V. So how much money do I have? I got a 2002 Toyota pickup truck.
No, you need a 57 Chevy with dual exhaust and glass packs on it.
I wish. So, I mean, I don't have a lot of money, but I'm not a millionaire. But the thing is, I've been so broke that I couldn't pay attention. And
it's free, for God's sake.
one time years ago, maybe 25 or 30 years ago, I remember opening the refrigerator with Judy. I opened the refrigerator freezer. There's nothing in there. I opened the refrigerator. There's like some butter, maybe some bread. And I said to my wife, I go, "I wonder what we're going to have to eat tonight. We don't have too much in here." And we had no money. And all of a sudden I hear a rumble of a motorcycle outside. What the hell is that? I look outside. It's Ed on a motorcycle. Ed Warren, black leather jacket, helmet.
Yes.
He walks inside. He goes, "Hey guys, how are you? Yeah, just showed up, Ed. How are you? Hey, I brought you something." He hands me a bag with a chicken in it, a whole chicken. Now, you see what I mean? I mean,
Like God says, you shall never go without. You shall never go without.
he knows what you want. He knows what not what you want. He knows what you need. A lot of people want stuff they don't need. Like I want a Corvette, but I don't need one. So I don't have one right now. Maybe I will before I drop dead. I don't know.
Dude, you look awesome in an old Stingray or something. Yeah, you look awesome.
The thing is, you remember memories. Like when I was 12 or 11, I used to watch Route 66. You guys can look it up on YouTube. Route 66, the original. The black
William Shatner was in that.
Yeah, it was with Martin Milner and George Maharis.
Yeah.
Martin Milner was Todd Stiles, and Buzz Murdoch was George Maharis.
Old
and they
school.
drove a Corvette. They drove a Corvette through Route 66, and they'd stop along the way and get part-time jobs, just to have a little money. But then they'd have drama happen. They'd get to know people, and there'd be a whole storyline. So Route 66, you can probably find the whole episode. And I loved Corvettes ever since I watched the first episode. I used to get Hot Rod magazine all the time when I was 10 years old. 1960. I was
American
10.
Muscle. American Muscle.
I used to buy Hot Rod magazine. So it's like everybody's got their passion, you know. Everybody's got their passion and things that they remember from childhood. You know, that's why I like the Beach Boys, because they brought me through a lot of hard times. All those times I told you about, I could always sit back and just listen to something happy, a happy song, you know.
It's good for your soul, and that's hard rock. That's muscle car music too.
Yeah, like it's Shut Down,
the old Woodies. Tony, before we close up, I got to ask you. I'm dying to ask you. Give me one of your favorite places you've been, and give me a couple bucket list places. Like, have you come to Maine yet?
Places I've been that I like, you mean?
Yeah, give me a couple places you've been that you really like, and then bucket list.
England, Scotland. I've been to Maine. I've been up to Kennebunkport and Portland.
You've been to Maine?
Yeah, I've been to Portland. I've been to Kennebunkport.
That's all Kennebunkport. Yeah, the bushes.
Right over the line over Portsmouth, New Hampshire line or something, or Portsmouth, Maine.
Yeah. Very cool.
Right there. And I've been to Maine. I've been to New Hampshire. I've been to Vermont. I've been to Texas. I've been to California, Florida. Not everywhere, though. North Carolina, South Carolina.
Alaska?
I haven't been to Alaska yet, but I'd like to go there. That's cool. That's a big.
It seems pretty cool. I mean,
it's cold, but there's parts that are almost normal. not a lot of people up there. Not a lot of people, so it's a lot of vast land up there. But England and Scotland are really good. And the only reason I went there is because Ed and Lorraine used to go to England and Scotland and Wales and Ireland years ago. And so I went to Belfast, Ireland. Pretty cool. Ireland's nice. The people are good. England and Scotland, man.
Italy?
I haven't been to Italy, but I'm going. I'm going to go. I'd love to go to Italy.
Let's go together, brother. I win the lottery or something. We'll go together. My treat, man. It'd be awesome.
It's one of the. I guess Italy's one of the most.
Where's your family from? My grandparents were from Calabria.
They're from the Calabria. Yeah, they're from Calabria.
Yours too?
Yeah, and it's from.
No way, Calabria. Yeah.
Calabria. One's from Abruzzi. The other side is from Abruzzi.
Right at the tip of the boot. Right at the bottom of the boot. Kicking up Sicily.
Yeah, Calabria. Yeah. Well, I looked up mafia guys. And there's a guy named Benjamin SPERA. He was a mob captain or leader over in Italy.
Blood?
Yeah.
Oh.
Must be. How many SPERAs are there? I mean, he might be related. I don't know, but yeah, the mafia. Well, the mafia is not as big as it used to be, but England's beautiful. Scotland's beautiful. Like when I went to England, I went to York. I went to Borley Rectory with Ed. I went to York. I went to Loch Ness, Scotland, and I went to Edinburgh, and a lot of little towns. Like there's a town near Loch Ness called Drumnadrochit, and there might be some Scottish people listening or know some. Drumnadrochit is a funny name, but it's right outside of Loch Ness.
Look at that! Better late than never.
What's that,
Mr. Jimmy?
Jimmy's
in the
house. Jimmy's in the house. Well, Jimmy, like I said before, Jimmy was one of the original ghost hunters with Ed and Lorraine, and so was Rick Clark. They were back in the 90s, like 91. So how many years ago was that they knew Ed and Lorraine? And they used to come to our classes, go on a lot of investigations. They're probably one of the most knowledgeable two people out there. And there's not a lot of people that worked hand in hand with Ed and Lorraine, but they did. And Jimmy's funny as shit, isn't he?
He's like, yeah, I tell you what, the people all say that. Obviously, Hans Holzer, and you got the Fox sisters from New York, but Ed and Lorraine. Well, like when even you did it in the 80s, no offense, Tony, and you might know this, you guys were kind of known as the Cuckoos until until the Ghost Hunters came out and Douchebag Zagans, sorry. But to me, Ghost Hunters really, and the movie Ghostbusters really opened it up. But before then, it was kind of taboo to have tattoos, ride motorcycles, chase ghosts. It was kind of different. You were kind of the weirdos. Yeah. And you really surpassed that.
Yeah, because it's real. If it wasn't real, it would have faded by the wayside.
It's not a phase. It's not a fad, right?
But ghosts are real. Jimmy knows that, and Rick, because they've seen them and they've heard them. And when you feel it, Jimmy's he's off the chain, man.
But he's legendary, you guys. I mean, I watched the videos of you.
Jimmy's very smart, you know. I mean,
you get your YouTube channel with you doing interviews with Ed and Lorraine, and they loved you. They respected you, not as a son-in-law or a son, but I think they'd be really proud of what you've done, man.
Yeah, I hope so, because Ed always told me, keep spreading the word. Now, why would I just let it die? Keep spreading the word, and as you notice, I never say anything ever, even slightly bad about Ed or Lorraine, because there's really, to me, nothing slightly bad about them. You know, they were loving people. All they cared about was helping other people in trouble, because Ed lived in a haunted house from age 5 to 12. And all they wanted to do was help other people.
Ed didn't get a dime. He from Amityville, the original Amityvilles, they didn't get credited for
the only money he ever got was
nothing.
From books and lectures. And if
he worked his butt off for.
If he went to Ohio or somewhere and somebody said, "Hey Ed, can you come out to Ohio? I don't have any money," he'd go. But if they said, "Ed, you know, we'll pay some expenses for gas," he'd take it. I mean, he's not stupid, because, you know, he didn't have a regular job. He didn't do anything else but that. So lectures and books is how they stayed alive.
Right.
To me, people are idiots when they go, "Well, they're making money." Yeah, well, now it's a sin to make money, I guess.
No,
I guess that's a sin, you know.
But go to your rock concerts, go see Jelly Roll, pay $100 to go see a white rapper guy, and go pay your money for them. That's okay. They're heroes.
That's okay. Well, yeah, I know. And
right.
They're giving 2 hours.
Come on, Tony. Come on.
They're giving 2 hours at a time, and they're making 10 times more than Ed and Lorraine ever thought of making.
And they're considered gods.
The point is, you're not doing it for money. Like, for years, I didn't make a dime, a penny. But I'm sure I made some money off the Annabelle events and the Paracons, but I think I deserve to make a few dollars, because I don't work either, and I'm 73 years old, and all I get is Social Security.
God bless you. I tell you, Tony, I love you, and you look great at the sets and stuff, but you don't look out of place, but you can tell you're just like, what the hell's going on? Because you're not a celebrity, which is good. That's a good thing. You're not. But you're there to promote Ed and Lorraine, to tell their story, but you're just like,
I don't want to be a celebrity.
No.
That's what I said about people before.
You're humble. You're a humble man.
They just want to be better than somebody else. I don't care who's smarter than me, because there's a lot of people smarter. I don't care who makes more money, because a lot of people make more money. As long as I'm healthy and I got somebody who cares about me.
You get the love of your life.
And I got a roof over my head, and I got some good food and a few friends, then I'm happy. I mean, if you have one good friend in your whole life, you're lucky. So I got a few, not a lot.
Tony, I'm not gay, but I love you, dude. I would literally fight anybody that had a problem with you. I would go to bat for you, because, dude, you have been so awesome to me since the minute I met you. You invited me to the Warren Con last year, going, come as my guest. You know, you're not paying a dime. Between you and me, I probably should have said that, but I was your guest, and I just came in like I was owned the place, and I will never forget that, Tony. You have me for the rest of your life. Like, I will protect your name. If anybody talks shit about you, I will punch him in the lip and say, "This was from Tony."
So, I could use all the friends I could get right.
Well, you got it, man. You got it. Like, people like proud to know you. They say proud to know you, Tony.
Thank you.
Your life, Matt. Absolutely, a lot of good fans out there, man. People like you a lot.
Well, the people out there are good people, and I'm just one of them. I'm just one of the people. So, you know, like tonight, I like tonight for supper. I had a chicken salad sandwich that Judy made me, chicken salad, and some beets that I cooked up. I marinated some beets with olive oil and vinegar and garlic and onions. That's all. I mean, I don't, you know, I'm not a
Tony, you
chef.
got the Italian flair, though. I've seen you cook on Facebook and stuff.
I go
You're a good cook, my
I
friend.
go shopping at Costco. I go
Yeah.
shopping at ShopRite and stuff. So it's like, you know, it's just regular people. I mean, Jimmy knows that, and Rick knows that, and most people know that, and just like everybody else. I mean, you know, hey, if somebody handed me $1 million, I'd gladly take it. But you don't really. I don't need it. All I need is to be able to pay the bills. If I can pay the bills and eat good, I'm happy. You know.
Very modest human. We're about an hour 10 into it. I know it's getting late, Tony. Is there anything you want to ask me? I kind of do this now with my guests, as if they want to flip side, be the host and ask me a question.
I want to ask you how you got involved in the supernatural realm. How'd you get involved in it?
Honestly, my mom's father passed away in 1988. My grandfather, I was 9, and he came to me and walked me to the fridge and got me some milk, and I thought I was daydreaming. But
Yeah.
years later, my sister told me that she goes, I saw Papa, and he was waving to me from the ceiling. I said, well, I saw him too. And at this point, at 2014, my dad's father, Mr. Began, Conrad Began, he died right in front of me at the hospital, flatlined, everything. So I kind of saw 2 deaths, and I was like, I just want to find out that I don't want to cry. That's why, like me, my mom died, as you know, and I died in a car accident, as you saw, for 38 seconds. And I believe in God. I wear my rosary. I wear my mom's ashes. She was cremated. And that's why I really look up to you, because a lot of people are scared to talk about our Father and our Lord Jesus Christ and why we're here with God Almighty. It's not a coincidence why we drink water and have oxygen and blood flows. And I love when you talk, man. So not to be about me, but it means a lot to me, because I don't want to just die and be worm food. It's not that. We go on to our Savior, our Father,
every day,
to a palace.
every day when I wake up in the morning, I thank God for another day that I'm alive. Because, you know, I'm on borrowed time. You know, my father died at 66. He was the oldest, but I beat him. When I was 66, I got a little nervous. But I'm 73 now, and I'm still alive. But I know I'm on borrowed time. So every day that I'm alive, every day that I'm relatively healthy, I'm happy as heck, because God gave it to us. God gave us our lives, and that's so cool that he cared enough to give it to us. You know what I mean? To give us our lives and let me stay alive.
You sharing this love, dude. You sharing this wisdom and love to me and so many people, Tony. You don't have to.
Well, the thing is, everybody's the same. You know, people are just people, and they all have wants and needs, and they all want to be loved. They all want to be liked, and they all want to be happy. Happy is the key, and so people need to stop the bullshit, negative crap on social media. You don't see me posting anything negative you don't see Jimmy posting anything negative. He posts stuff to make people laugh.
Yeah, humor's good.
That's the greatest gift, is to make people laugh. You know, to forget your problems. So the negativity doesn't work. I mean, and so I'm not negative at all when it comes to that. But I shake my head sometimes at some of the negative people, how they could be that way and stay that way. You know. So Rick Clark's got the biggest heart in the world, and
he's been through some medical issues.
Probably the most genuine and generous people I know. Wade Kirby, the greatest guy I know. Dan Rivera, one of the greatest guys I know.
Arnie Johnson,
Anthony Holmes, one of the greatest.
Anthony
and Dina.
Yeah,
great. They're the nicest people, and they've been through a lot too. Everybody's got their own story. Like there's an old TV show. I'll let you go. There's an old TV show that you can look up on YouTube too, called The Naked City, and it was about detectives in New York. And they scanned the beginning of the show. They scan over all the skyscrapers, and they say there are 8 million stories in the Naked City. I mean, there's 8 million people. There's 8 million stories in the Naked City. This is one of them. And so everybody's got a story to tell. Everybody's been through heartache. Everybody's been through hell. And everybody's been happy too, I hope, at times. So you got to take the good with the bad, like I said, but you always got to keep throwing out the positive vibes. Throw out the positive vibes or the good vibrations. And Life is
Good,
good.
good vibe. Tony SPERA, I've robbed you of an hour and 15 minutes, so I'm gonna get going. You can go hang out with your beautiful wife, Judy. Judy comments, she goes, I love your post. You're so informational. I go, oh, Judy SPERA commented on my post. Judy Warren, that's so cool. Tony,
Judy's probably the most generous person.
You're blessed, brother. You're blessed.
That I know, because she sells those bracelets and whatever money she makes, 100%, not 99, 100% of the profits go to animal charities and rescues. Those are one of those beads has got Lorraine's costume jewelry on it. She sells them for like $45, and $45 goes to charity. Any strings or beading material she uses, she doesn't even deduct that off of there.
Comes with a card too. I don't know what the card is, but it comes with a little thing that says Lorraine's was used.
Spirits and spirit beads. Spirit beads.
I got that from the last marathon, but that's not it.
Well, I hope you come to Gettysburg. You're coming, right?
There's the one.
That's it.
Well, you know it, Tony. I got to go look at it. It's the one from the first Warren thing. Oh, man, we could talk for another 2 hours, but I'm going to let you go. I'm definitely going to be there. You guys are going to be there. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's worth it to go early and stay late. Am I right? It's a beautiful. Oh, real quick, how did you decide on Gettysburg? Was it like just a flip of the coin?
Dan Rivera came up with Gettysburg because he's
smart man.
I only been there a couple times. He's been there more than 2, and he likes it down there. And he said, "Hey, that's a great venue, kind of a place. It'll be more intimate than Mohegan Sun, more because it'll be a smaller venue. And so it will be smaller, but there's a lot to do down there too. So we're gonna have food trucks. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great."
See, I told my girl Heather, I said, I think this is a start. They're going to go to like New Orleans, Salem, maybe San Diego, all the I think a world tour. We'll see what the future holds.
Well, we'll see. We don't know yet, but we'll see. Yeah,
look at that. Tony SPERA wrote it. To Adam, Tony SPERA. I don't know animal's mouth. Tony, anything we left out before we go? Anything you want to mention or anything?
No. Peace out. Peace out there.
I love this guy. Follow N.E.S.P.R, New England Society for Psychic Research. You know him, the one, the only, Dr. Ware, Dr. Ware, Dan Rivera. Tony SPERA is amazing. Check him out on YouTube, on Facebook. And we'll see you guys at the Warren Phantasmicon 2024. We're in year number 4 now, right?
It'd be fourth annual. Yep.
I couldn't tell you. Better people. If you want to follow some people in this field, guys, you want to follow these guys. They're the leaders. They've always have been. And